You're on a retro trek with the Caramel Apples, a podcast that dials up most impressive stargazing nostalgia from your home planet to the Hoth system, with your hosts Kennedy Rizzo and Cooper Lee.
Annie? My goodness, you've grown.
So have you.
Hello, Orchard Archivers. Thank you for joining us for our Star Wars with a Caramel Twist Prequels of Destiny series. We're making our way through the core worlds to the Outer Rim.
That's right. We're heading back to the beloved faraway galaxy for some star-studded entertainment. This is just the thing we've come to look forward to when you're a diehard Star Wars fan. We have so much for you this week, but as per usual, be sure to hit that subscribe button to catch our Caramelicious podcast every week. Of course, you can find us on our official website, retrotrekwiththecaramelapples.com, and all the socials. By the way, Retro Trek with the Caramel Apples is now live on Buy Me a Coffee, which is a way for us to stay more connected with our dear Orchard Archivers. The Retro Orchard has some delicious offerings for our most dedicated listeners.
Aw, yes! We're so excited about this, too. So this week, we're going back and capturing the allure of a most intriguing character of the George Lucas franchise.
Yeah, so before there was a Jane Foster, an Anne Boleyn, or a Nina Sayers, there was Padmé Amidala Naberry.
Ooh, once queen turned senator and owner of Anakin Skywalker's heart. Hey, wait a minute. I think I might have to boycott that last one.
You're some stiff competition there, Kennard.
I know.
Well, let me know how that works out.
Oh, I will.
So she is quite a fascinating character, isn't she?
Oh, yeah.
Fun fact, her birth name is Padmé Naberry. I don't know if it's Naberry or Naberry. I'm not sure.
Probably Naberry, kind of like Naboo.
Yes, Naberry. Okay, that's what we're going with.
Okay.
But you know what? She took the name Amidala for her tenure as queen for protection of herself and of her family. This was a tradition to help with the anonymity during public office.
That's right. She was born to Jobal and Rui Naberry and joined one sister, Sola Naberry, and nieces Ryu and Pooja Naberry. Although her family has some influence, they are of humble means.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it?
That'd make them relatable.
Exactly. Now, it certainly seems that they do have some sort of clout, even if they are of humble means, because she graced the throne of Naboo without being born rich or into aristocracy. So we'll state the obvious. Every guy out there likely wanted to be Anakin.
Right?
And vice versa for the ladies wanting to switch places with Padme.
Oh, wait, let me put my hand down because it was up. But switching places with Padme would definitely have some strings attached.
Oh, yeah.
Not in regards to her guy himself. No, no. In the fact of what Palpatine wanted to use her for.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a tool of sorts, basically, from the first time we see her.
She really was.
Mhm.
He'd been manipulating her coming to office and pretty much everything after that. As we've gone through the storyline, we can see definitely how much Palpatine was the sinister cloud. Right? He was just.
That's interesting. A sinister cloud.
He was raining on everybody's parade, right? He
If
was
you
something
want to, if you want to call it that.
else.
I know Kennedy's brain is not right. I'll behave.
No, this is fine. So, so although Palpatine didn't know that Anakin and Padme would meet and fall in love, that did end up being the icing on the cake for him for his evil ends.
Yeah, yeah.
To achieve his ends, Padme would need to reach her end, and that's not a happy one at all.
Hey, that's how the ebb and flow of life is, isn't it?
It really is, yeah.
Palpatine was truly able to manipulate all of young Skywalker's emotions.
And our dear Star Wars fans know that's exactly what happened. Once young 9-year old Anakin laid eyes on Padme, it was the beginning of the end for him.
Tale as old as time, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're not saying that falling in love with someone is bad for you. But the sad fact is that for poor Padme and Anakin, this was the love story of their lives and is one that will go down in the history books. Right? Hashtag facts.
Yes, and it's such a tragedy. I mean, because neither one of them really, like, this is Anakin's one and only love.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, she was a little bit older. We'll get into that a little bit later, but like this was just it's sad that they did fall so deeply in love and it was just I don't know, tear jerking.
Yeah, but real quick, Coop, this is the kind of stuff that everybody's looking for.
Yes.
This is the kind of connection with their person. If there's, because they're like for each other. Like, there's so many people on multiple relationships, multiple marriages. That's their business. But, like, that's what they're looking for.
Right. Right.
And I think it was portrayed well, that connection that they had to the viewers, and they're like, oh, I want that too. So,
Exactly. I mean, here we are, how many years later, talking about this story.
yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still very much alive and well, and maybe in some respects, even more alive now than it was then for some people.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, like, the bridge between that is vast.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
You said it. And I have to say, Padme actually recites a line in Revenge of the Sith, since we're talking about revenge kind of right now, that it's one of the saddest lines in a movie, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
She says, I don't know you anymore. Anakin, you're breaking my heart. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that is so sad because she's just pleading with him. She's like, well, let me go on. She says, you're going down a path I cannot follow.
Mm.
She is really laying it on the line for him. She's like, if you just turn around, I'm your person. I will go to the outer rim with you. I will go anywhere with you. But where you're going right now, I just can't do. And it is killing me.
Yep, breaking that connection, he is. Mhm.
Yes. Yes. It's like, oh, just to hear her pleading, it's like, you know, she's going there with begging, and everybody's got that level of pride. That they're like, I don't want to seem like I'm your doormat or you're gonna step all over me. And it's really a risk to let somebody know that they are that, like you were talking about the connection.
Yes.
It's really a risk sometimes to let someone know that you are that invested in them because they really can manipulate you.
Yeah.
They could do some damage.
Yeah.
She was willing. Yeah,
And a good relationship is built on solid trust.
absolutely. She was willing to, lay it all out and be like, okay, you can destroy me with this. And he did. It's like, oh God. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
This is very relatable. You can understand that. That's why when we have a good story, man,
yeah,
it's mind blowing.
yeah, yes. Padme, she's our girl, right? She wanted to be there for him in every way. It was just so heart wrenching.
Yeah, it really was. We'll definitely get into why a little more. I mean, we kind of, we had this little appetizer, carnival appetizer here just now, but we're going to really definitely get into this more. So stay tuned.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're first introduced to Queen Amidala in her council chamber. She's stately, regal, and young, all of 14 years old.
To be sure, it's quite interesting that she is so young, but let's not get confused by her age. Palpatine underestimated her. Let's not do the same.
Exactly. She's serving a two-term position as queen. Her tenure was during the time of the Galactic Republic. Although democratically elected, there were so many strings being pulled behind the scenes by Palpatine the Sith Lord, who wanted Padme to be queen because he felt he could control her to his whims.
Yes. All that aside, she still won the role as queen due to her being such a likable candidate who was regal, confident, and fair. The people of Naboo gladly voted her in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to note that Palpatine himself is a native of Naboo.
Stinker.
Yes, the dark side.
we talked about this a few seconds ago.
Right. Just to catch up to speed on how the senator plays such a role in Queen Amidala's life, he has known and watched her for a long time.
Oh, I mean, just the way you said that, that's sinister and creepy.
God, it really is. It makes you feel sad for the queen.
Yeah. She's certainly a sympathetic character. As we mentioned before, let's not get caught up in the ugly behind the scenes just yet. She knows her own mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She's for the cause, for the people, responsible and gregarious. She knows what she wants. Anakin.
Yeah, like who wouldn't? Man.
But you know what? She will not be sidelined. Like, take the first time on Tatooine. She has every intention to scope out the planet for herself, even at Qui Gon's refusal.
Mm-hmm.
Then, after Qui Gon determines that Annie can win the pod race and help get their parts, she protests. She's 14 after all, but she's still trying to think of what would be best for everyone.
That's right. So, as stated, at this point, everyone has been referring to her as Queen Amidala. But it is after the Queen's entourage leave their home planet that Padme really steps to the front.
Yes, Queen Amidala, aka Padme, is played by Academy Award winning Natalie Portman.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she is cool. She was 16 at the time of playing Padme and subsequently portrayed her in all three prequels.
That's an important point.
It really is. Fun fact, Natalie is the first actor born in the 80s to receive an Academy Award.
That's quite interesting and exciting for her career.
Yeah.
As we've stated so many times before, love it when the cast returns for the entire run of whatever project it is. It is so important.
Yes, can't be overstated.
No, and it's not that way much anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
There's way more to a role than just lines. The actor brings some parts of themselves to the role, which I think you mentioned in other Trek retros in the recent past.
Yeah, I mean, they are, after all, the person picked for the role to begin with. I don't know if it's because sometimes when an actor realizes what they do bring to the role, then they want to negotiate and get a little bit more money. And then the studios are like, no. And it's like, just pay it. You know, the dividends will be later.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is who people want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And they get all caught up and they think, nope, anyone can fill your shoes. You are just a number. And it's like, all right, whatever.
Good grief.
But yes, I totally agree. Even something as subtle as their voice,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So glad this detail wasn't overlooked. Fun fact, there were around 200 who auditioned for this role. One strong contender was up for the part, that being Bignette Robinson.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, what you just stated, though, we're not really surprised at all. I mean, everybody's like, hey, pick me, pick me.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
They want their big break. But this was Star Wars after all, and the fan base is huge. So, again, pretty understandable.
absolutely.
We mentioned back before with the original three, the actors and others who had been approached really didn't know the potential that would amass such a marker in history.
Mhm.
Maybe not taken as seriously because of that.
Ha! But fast forward to the late 90s. Yes, they were probably coming out of the woodwork for this role.
Hashtag facts.
Yeah, like I said, 200. I'm surprised it wasn't more. That was probably a rough count.
Right?
Um, but we have to say that we were thrilled that Natalie Portman stood head and shoulders out of everyone else at an impressive 5'3".
That's right. Dynamite comes in small packages.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so not literally, but we know what I mean, right? So yeah, yeah.
By the time Attack of the Clones starts back up, she's 10 years older, and that puts her at 24, and she's 27 in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
She's now a senator and still very much on Palpatine's biggest hits list, and we're not talking music.
His plan is abysmal at best. Now, out of her 13 handmaiden and decoys, Corday has died in her service for Padme, which she truly carries a heavy heart for. And Rose Byrne plays Dorme, her personal assistant. And we also see Keira Knightley as Save in the Queen's service for much of Phantom Menace as her queen decoy until the big reveal towards the end, as we've mentioned before in the Phantom Menace episode we did.
That's right, so tune in and we'll link that in the show notes.
Absolutely.
As senator, she moves to Coruscant to replace Palpatine, who is now Supreme Chancellor. When Padme would speak, her accent was deliberate to show power and confidence, to demand respect from others.
So Padme was not to be trifled with.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen her with blasters in hand more than a time or two. She would stand for what she believes was right. All the while, her feelings for Anakin were growing, which kind of seems wrong. The whole no attachment for the Jedi thing, you know?
Yes, there's always these little strange clauses.
Exactly.
Once back on Naboo, they really struggled to not give their feelings away. She struggled more than Annie, I think. He's pretty much let her know right from their reunion he likes what he sees. So he gladly took on the role as her protector, but he also quickly got the memo not to argue with her. Oh, see, she's a firecracker.
Yes, she is.
She knows her own mind.
Yeah, but she loves him. Oops, uh-oh. She loves him. Of course she loves him. But she's been groomed and in the public life for quite some time. She's cautious when it comes to her position and her heart, but she'll grab a blaster anytime.
In her words, these are aggressive negotiations.
Hey, Padme, we like your style and we mean that at all levels.
That's right.
So, not just her quick, ready response, but her actual royal regalia and pretty much all her outfits.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part of the podcast where our guy listeners can zone out for a couple minutes. But don't go too far, okay?
That's right. We'll give them like brief permission. Quite certain they'll like what she wore, though, as well.
Oh, yes, true. From the obvious undertones of Asian flair to a lot of her stately attire in The Phantom Menace, to her fashion on Naboo, and who could forget the awesome off-white cream shawl and pant outfit? The boots for traveling from Tatooine to Geonosis.
Oh, yeah, and that's right up Coop's alley, because that's, yeah, she's like,
Yeah, that's
oh.
really cool.
Yes, that's definitely one of her favorites for cosplay.
Yes.
It's bad to the bone, but also functional.
Mhm.
A lot of her dresses were simply breathtaking, but not so easy to get around in.
Yeah, she wore whatever the occasion called for, and she pulled it off effortlessly.
That's right. It seems that the Asian flair you mentioned, Coop, is indeed a thing. She was rumored to be in reflection of the last queen of Mongolia, Queen Jennifer.
Well, it's really cool, and it gives her a very prestigious air throughout The Phantom Menace. Also, her hairstyles were very unique and very plentiful.
Mhm.
Unlike her daughter Leia, though, her hairstyles do not have specific names. So, the specific style will be described by the outfit she was wearing as well. Fun fact, she has 42 outfits that span the saga of all three movies.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yes, the clothes were like the actors.
exactly. And so intricate, so
Oh,
deep.
100%.
Absolutely.
See, I told you this was Coop's jam right here. Glad you enjoyed it, Coop.
I do.
Although when she delivers the news of the buns in the ovens to Anakin, her hair is in the same fashion as Princess Leia's, the star puffs.
Yeah, that style is said to originate on Naboo.
Okay.
Love that attention to detail.
Yeah, they're very cute.
Yeah, it's cool to see Padme in this style at such a pivotal moment in their story.
Mm-hmm.
But the cinnamon bun hairstyle is not the only thing mother and daughter share. Leia has a lot of her mother's spunk in her as well.
Yes, she was with a blaster in hand whenever the occasion called for it, too.
She really was. With mentioning babies now on board, we can't help but talk about the obvious. Padme and Anakin have secretly married and are now expecting twins. Fun fact, we know that Anakin has the highest midichlorian count of over 20,000. Well, even though Padme isn't force sensitive, her expecting force sensitive twins, her readings are as high as 40,000.
Oh, that's insane numbers.
Yeah.
If only she were a Jedi.
Oh my goodness. Talk about a force to be reckoned with. Whoa.
Right?
Yeah. You said it, Kenneth. That's crazy. Since we mentioned Leia, I have a couple fun facts to share about the twins.
Okay.
Fun fact, everyone knows it's Princess Leia Organa of Alderaan, right?
Of course.
Well, one might assume that she's a princess due to her birth mother being queen at one point. But actually, here with her adoption into the Organa royal family we see that her adoptive mother is Queen Rhea Organa. So it's kind of cool. She's had strong queen in her blood, so to speak.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh. Oops. So I have a fun fact to share about Luke.
Okay.
Fun fact. At an award ceremony this past year, Natalie Portman and Mark Hamill met for the first time.
Oh,
Yeah, mother and son finally crossed paths.
that is cool, man. I'm
Isn't that
telling you.
really cool?
So someone else who was introduced into the story through Padme is R2D2.
He's so cute.
He is. He actually accompanies her quite a bit through the story. He definitely has more screen time than 3PO. Because that might be a good thing. 3PO has issues.
Yes, he does.
We love him anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe R2 is in charge.
Yes, yes. R2 is on many of her exploits. And when Master Kenobi was held captive on Geonosis, she was not about to leave him there to die. At this point, Anakin is ready to listen to Jedi counsel and staying out on Tatooine and keep Amidala safe.
Curious to be sure, he's been bucking this whole time.
He really has.
Running ahead, talking out of turn. Now he's ready to listen. When Obi's life is on the line, though,
Makes you wonder. Padme says, "He gave you strict orders to protect me, and I'm going to help Obi-Wan. If you plan to protect me, you'll just have to come along." Her message is very clear, and Annie is smitten. He grins and goes along with her and R2.
How can you not follow at least R2?
That's right.
As we stated before, she's very confident with blasters. Not only that, she became proficient in piloting anything with thrusters.
Isn't that pretty cool?
It is.
Yeah.
This was part of her royal duties. One might ask, why would that be required? Uh-oh, I get to do a fun fact. This is caramel awesome. Fun fact. She would need to be able to represent her planet and subjects. Fun fact number 2. Another one.
Yeah, you go, Kennard.
Okay, I'm going to do while the getting's good. Fun fact number 2. This is C-3PO's first flight ever, and Queen turned pilot did the honors.
Love it.
This is your Captain Padme speaking.
So Padme had another surprise for Anakin up her sleeve while on Naboo. She discloses to him her first crush. Newsflash, it wasn't him. Yeah, remember we talked about that. This was his one and only. She's a little bit older.
A little awkward.
So, yeah, I doubt he fumes a little bit about that.
Right.
But Orchard Archivers, what is the name of Padme's first love? What did he choose as his career path?
That's interesting. Please weigh in because we'd love to hear from you.
That's right. So she's such an interesting character, and there's a sadness surrounding her throughout the prequels. We've already known her outcome, which is sad. We already know that she dies.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's always difficult to watch a character that you have compassion for and sympathize with to meet their end.
Yeah, I guess there had been some talk about Natalie reprising her role in Disney's Ashoka season 2, but
Interesting.
yeah, either the talk stalled or they were just rumors. I guess we
Mm.
can always stay tuned, right?
Yeah. Much to Anakin's chagrin, and not to mention the viewers, this probably is the one and only place we will see Queen Amidala alive and well.
Okay.
No alternate ending for her or this story. Unless,
Really? That sucks. No, I'm just kidding.
but guess what? He's still alive. Huh. Yeah, now you calling for the stand-in for Padme.
Yes. Kennedy Rizzo. Just kidding.
Kennedy Rizzo. She is in rare form today.
That's right. I need to behave.
No, she's always like this, isn't she? She's a mess, so we know it. But as you mentioned, they showcased her in the series. So maybe even in a live action Clone Wars,
Oh, okay.
that might be interesting because she would be in that. So we'll see.
Hmm.
That idea has some merit.
Yes, it does.
But being quite honest, there really wouldn't be a Skywalker Star Wars saga without her contribution and tragic loss. We hate it, but there's just was no other way around it.
Okay. She was a force of nature to everyone around her, even in Palpatine's wicked scheme. For all of her sacrifices, we certainly see why Anakin fell head over heels for Padme.
Yeah. He loved her so fiercely, he actually broke her heart. Tragic.
Yeah. Her Royal Highness, Queen Amidala of Naboo, revered by her people, embraced by her family, loved by Anakin, cherished in galaxies far, far away.
Oh, dear. That's it for this week's Orchard Trek Retro. Rest assured, we're just getting started. Need a podcast to listen to on the way to Tashi Station to pick up power converters? Maybe one not fluid and botchy? Plug into the Retro Orchard as Kennedy and Cooper share more retro goodness in our Star Wars with a Caramel Twist Prequels of Destiny series. We have a good feeling about this.